I mean, kids are very worried about getting done in 30 minutes, but if you practice with them and you have the timer and you set it and you let them go through, you know, make up a set of skills and let them go through it, and especially after they've practiced for a while and they're practicing really for the real thing, then they're amazed when that person being their evaluator stops the timer and they're like, it only took me 8 minutes to do that, or it only took me 12 minutes to do that. They think they're almost at the end of their time and they really aren't. So
what is the average time? 25 minutes. That's how long? Right now is 25 minutes. That's what I heard last week. Yeah, that's a variable that changes. And the more these skills are getting ingrained, you know, getting into the schools, and the more that the teachers are becoming familiar with them, the faster the times will get.
One of the things I think too, for those of you that are new, you're starting out from scratch. So you don't have to go back like me and go, oh,
you ain't got to undo.
I don't have to undo what we've done in the past and go, oh, wait a minute, didn't we do this? So no, we don't do that now. Let me look at the book, you know, and I'm having to go back and look at the book and make sure I'm correct about what a student will ask me a question, I'll say, let me look at the book because we've done it, you know, more than one way, and I need to make sure that I'm telling you what's in the book that's current, even though you've practiced it. So.
Because the cheese moves.
I have to be real careful with my students when I'm teaching. Say, well, I used to do this. They don't need to know what we used to do. They really don't need. They need to know what we need to do now.
That's right.
I myself trying to explain something when I don't need to do that because I don't know anything.
And you know why we do that? Because we're nurses and everything we do has a reason. There's a theory behind everything we do. And so we feel like we have to explain ourselves like we did to our teachers back in the day. That's an excellent point, but we don't have that kind of time luxury. You know, it's not like the history of catheterizing. Or a good one would be the history of giving an injection. How many of you remember sharpening needles?
Yep.
Only 2 of us?
I do.
Sharpening needles.
I remember in nursing school being in a pediatric doctor's office, and that was the last thing we did at the end of the day when I was doing my rotation. The nurse would take me back and she'd say, we're sharpening our needles now, and I was going, wow, but they were still doing that.
Glass syringes, glass, and now you give an injection and the thing automatically pops over the needle, and you drop it in the container, never to be seen again. Wow, good point. Yeah, we really don't have the luxury of saying, well, way back then. If we were doing a history of medicine or a history of nursing, that would be really interesting, but we don't have that luxury.
You know, one thing I want to say, because there's so many new people here, and Teresa can jump in, Beth can jump in now because Beth's got experience, but Beth started out, you know, fresh and new. How many years ago? 5 years ago? 6 years? Yeah.
Oh, you're old school.
You know, and I mean, you make it through. You just do what you've got to do for the time you're at right now, and you get better every year. You improve things every year. You keep working at it. It doesn't necessarily get easier because, like you say, the cheese gets moved, and here comes something new that we have to work on. But you know, teaching is very rewarding to me.
It is.
I think once you get past all the extraneous, the classes you have, the modules you have to, then to me it became easier.
Once you get past that certification stuff, and you can focus just on your
you
classes.
can relax a little bit at that point.
And see, she's got more recent experience. I mean, things were very different when I came in, and probably Teresa a little bit. It was a little bit different that we did have hoop jumping, but it was just a different kind.
That's right.
We had to go to Raleigh.
Yeah, we had to go to Raleigh, but we didn't have to. It was sort of different. You did everything sort of in a week's or part of a week's time with Nancy Rayner.
Right.
So it's very different now, and so you know, people will ask us questions, and we can only tell you. I mean, it is in the past, and sometimes what we tell you isn't current for what you need. So usually,
and I mean,
most
we're glad
recent.
to help. I think I just, you know, all of us just pick up the phone and shoot us an email, a text, or something. I don't know.
And don't get
so not cannabis advice.
Yeah, we do.
Don't let it be because you think nobody has a life jacket because they do.
And if we don't
in
know,
this
we'll
county,
find out.
they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely.
And don't get so frustrated that you just don't think, like she says, there's nobody out there, because I mean, we're very lucky now But, you know, up until 3 or 4 years ago, we were all singletons, and there was nobody in our schools. Well, you've had somebody for a little bit of time, Teresa, but, you know, I was one of the last ones to get a second teacher. And so, but I've been around the longest. So, you know, we just were floating around, you know, trying to do the best that we could. So we've got our resources. Please use people as resources. And I'm telling you, Agnes is wonderful with your nurse aid stuff or even other stuff, because she's taught everything. She's been a classroom teacher. But we didn't have the support, and I'm not saying anything about the people in the past, but we didn't have people that would necessarily have the ability to come out and do what she's doing. And she's great, because she's a great role model for us.
It's just that evolution thing, you know.
We didn't have internet.
And then, I mean, you know, just the history
from the school, that was a huge deal to call
in
on
high school is fascinating. Because we are one of the very, very few states that do it like we do it. There's people that say they have nurse aid in high school, but they farm them out.
Right.
You know, Career College Promise style. And I don't consider that teaching it in the high school.
Right.
And I don't mean that detrimentally.
Right.
I have nothing against CCP. There's enough students that need help that everybody should have some. But I do think that high school students are unique. They learn differently than adults do in a general way. There's some ways that we all learn the same. But I do think that high school people are better equipped to teach high school students. But last week when I went to the meeting in Greenville, I was addressing college and career possible college and career promise teachers that teach in the community college, and I was telling them how our high schools are different. And I shared an article with them that I will send to you all when I have time to send it to you. It's a free article. National Institute of Mental Health puts it out, and they encourage you to reproduce it. It's rare that you see that written somewhere. But I've ordered some hard copies. Hopefully we'll have enough accumulated, because I can get 50 at the time for summer conference. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you the link, or either do a PDF and put it on there. But it may be good for you that, well, it'd be good for all of us, but it gives some reasons why we do the things that we do for high school kids, because they learn the way they learn. I learned something new when I read it, and it was talking about that our gray matter, you got a bunch of it, and then it diminishes. It doesn't diminish, but it decreases. Our gray matter decreases in number as we hit adolescence, and then at adolescence it begins to grow out again. And it talks about what that means. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I thought I knew
that
something
explains
about
all
the
the
teenage
things.
brain. I didn't know much. But I'll send that to you, and you may can use it in some of your lateral entry work, or you may can use it in some of your professional development stuff, or for whatever you want to use it for. So, anyways, there.
How can we help you clean up?
Nothing, because my students are coming in the morning. They'll be here. They'll straighten everything up, and it'll be fine. I don't want anybody to do anything. Nothing.
Now, I'm not real comfortable leaving this room like this.
This room looks fine. It's okay. My kids will come in. They help me set everything up. They got things out. I said, okay, we need this, that, and whatever, and they'll come in and we'll have it done probably in 20 minutes.
Sure.
I'm positive. Yeah. See, they couldn't get me on my regular phone.
Thank you so much.